Hi, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to identify a trend properly, and more importantly, when do you not take a trade, because that is the key to consistency. Now don't forget, after the webinar you can also pick up the example set using the links below or using the link in the description. Let's get started. Okay, so today's topic is on trends. How do you identify a trend? For the longest time, every time I meet students, they're always asking me, Naveen, I have a problem with consistency. Consistency. Now, consistency is a series of doing the same things over and over and over again. Correct? Everyone agree? So if it's doing the same thing over and over and over again, basically what it means is, in trading, if you do the same things over and over again, you're gonna come into a problem. Okay, you need to learn one key thing, is when not to do something. Okay, that is the key to getting consistent. Okay, so again, if your consistency is an issue for you, remember, consistency is doing the same thing over and over again, but you must also learn when not to do something. And that is what this whole webinar today is about. The reason why this webinar is so close to my heart, why this topic is very important to me, is because this kind of topic is what gave me my breakthrough. So I want you guys to listen, take notes, and make sure you stay on top of everything. Okay. All right. So the trend. Okay. So there's a couple things I wanted to share with you guys about a trend. Okay. Few things. Okay. One thing you need to know about a trend is the health, and the next thing is momentum. Okay, these are the two most important aspects of your trend. You need to know the health and the momentum. So let's get into it piece by piece. Now, why is trading with the trend important? Why is trading with the trend important? Okay, so a couple of things. When you're dealing with a trend, it helps you to go with the big boy in your favor. And many times you're gonna hear larger players or senior traders tell you that, you know what, I've made my fortune doing counter trend trading. And I'm gonna explain to you what that means in the example set that you're gonna get later on after the webinar, which tells you how are they actually doing that and still turning massive amounts of profit. So we're gonna walk through every little thing, but first you must understand these two aspects, the health and momentum. Okay, so let's go into it one piece at a time. So trading with the trend basically means someone is looking at a trend. So in this particular case, let's say this is a downtrend, right? Everyone can see that this is a downtrend, and in this downtrend, any little pullback that comes in, people are looking to enter again. Okay, because we don't want to chase it, we don't want to take prices down here, right? So any pullback that comes in, people want to sell it to turn a profit. Okay, in an uptrend, it's the reverse. Okay, here's an uptrend here. Any pullback that comes in, people want to buy. The concept of give me a better price and I will buy it. Give me a better price and I will buy it. So if you think of it in that sense, everyone is trying to wait for a pullback and they buy it. Now, here's the thing. If you buy every single pullback, you are going to make a loss. Okay? I want you guys to pay attention now. You guys can chat later. Focus. If you guys buy every single pullback, it is going to be in an overall loss. So let's find out when you're not supposed to trade. Okay, this is a very critical piece. So you need to understand this. When do you not touch something? Okay, so let's discuss health first. Okay, so what we're looking at in a trend is a few things. In an uptrend, we need two pieces of information. higher high, and higher low. Okay? So what does that mean? You know, some people might not be able to speak perfect English and they're like, what is this new language you talk about, Brown man? What is this higher high and higher low you've been talking about? So what basically this is you want the market to go make new highs like this thing right here. See, it's a higher high, but at the same time, the lows must also get higher. Okay, you need both pieces. You cannot have just one. You need both pieces, and then you say an uptrend is in play. An uptrend is in play. Now, when an uptrend is in play, you're looking for a few things. You're looking for the health. We're going to start with the health first. Okay, you're going to start with the health first. When you have your first move up, making a higher high, you're like, okay, I got my higher high. Check number one, but I don't have check number two. Where is my higher low? Market pulls back a little bit, puts in the higher low, and you're like, bam, okay, we got my two checks. Uptrend is now in motion. As you get your higher high here, what you're looking for is measurement of your last push up that made a higher high and your current one, and you want to measure that. Would you say the second one here seems to be stronger than the first one? Okay, would you agree that's stronger than the first one? Okay, so if you're saying yes, or if you're typing yes, if you're saying yes to that, then basically what it means is your trend is healthy. It's not dying. Okay, your trend is healthy. It's not dying. And if the trend is healthy, you are free to take the trend pullback following that. You are free to take the trend pullback following that. You put that together with support and resistance, supply and demand, and your trade becomes a lot healthier as well. Okay, but this is the basis. Now let's take this further. Now comparing this to the next move up, which was right here, he also made a higher high again after making a higher low, which means uptrend is still in motion. You take that out and say, yeah, that's still pretty healthy. That is also a buy that can be conducted. Okay, that is also a buy that can be conducted. But now this time, look at what's happening. He's unable to make a higher high. However, a trade can still work and give you decent profits, but there's a certain things you need to consider. Now it comes down to time to say, what about my momentum? I can understand health. Health has to do with distance and how well each subsequent move is happening. But now it comes down to momentum. So let's take a look at this word momentum. What is this word momentum? Okay, so momentum is basically speed. Okay, it's basically speed going back and forth, both. Okay, so as an example, just to make it easier, I'm going to give you guys an example. If you have a hill, okay, if you have a hill and you have a ball on top of the hill and you gently let go of that ball, okay, you gently let go of that ball. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, sorry, I'm not Picasso, but there you go. So there's that ball, and that's you just letting go of that ball. That ball initially starts slow, but then it picks up speed. It picks up speed, but as it's reaching the bottom of the move, it starts slowing down, right? It starts slowing down, and then it might reach into what we call a basing part, which is called a range in the market once the slowdown happens. So let's now put this into context into the chart, because that's where it's going to be all important. Okay, it needs to be in the chart. So let's now take the theory and put it into chart. So every step of the way we saw the market is healthy. It's getting higher and higher, but at the same time, look at the measurement of the movement. The first move up went up this high and pulled back that much. Okay, let's take that. The next move, here we go. The next move went up this high and pulled back that much. It seems like the second move went further, but look at the pullback. the pullback came in deeper. Okay, we're starting to see some signs of some struggle. And then the next move after that went even further, but look at the pullback on that one. Can you now start to sense the momentum starting to die? Can you now sense that? The momentum starting to die? Is that starting to make sense? Even though the trend is healthy, the momentum is fading. Okay? How many of you guys understand so far, everything that I've taught so far? You need both pieces to continue doing your trades. Okay? Because if you consider it in that sense and you try to take this buy afterwards, you're going to be in trouble. That buy will have a tough time to perform. Okay? Because although it looks like a pullback, it is not going to perform as well because your two criteria are not there. Okay? Now, it might sound, wow, this is, it's so simple and it almost seems like common sense. But here's the funny part. Time and time again, it is always said that common sense is not common practice, right? As much as this is so basic, I've noticed a lot of traders that come to me with so much knowledge in the back of their mind, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you taking every single pullback out there? You're taking every single pullback that comes in and you're just buying it. Pullback, buying it, pullback, buying it. Why? This basic knowledge is missing. And it's very important to know when to stand aside. Okay? So now let's take it a step further. So our job in an uptrend is give me a discount and I'll buy it. So basically when the prices come back down, you're like, yeah, discount and I'll buy it. So I can buy it at a good price, and as prices go higher, I can sell it to make a profit. Right? This buy low, sell high concept, everyone's heard about that, right? So give me a discount and I'll buy it. All right. Now, what happens when your health is exhausted and your momentum is exhausted? The market needs time to refresh before it can resume or turn around. So you don't want to get stuck into this end of this momentum trying to guess which way is the market going to go. There are answers to which way it's going to go, but for the sake of keeping it simple for this webinar, you want to stop trading at that moment. Yeah? Everyone with me so far? You stop trading at that moment. Don't need to identify what that pattern is. It's whether it's a wedge or a range or an inside bar or an inside monkey, whatever it may be, you stop caring about it and you stop doing those trades because it's no longer a trend pullback. Make sense? All right. So moving forward. Now, same thing. Let's take a look at some more examples. Okay. Now, here we go. No higher high, no higher high, no higher high. Nothing here. And then finally, market starts to make a new high. He makes a new high and we're sitting here thinking, is that a new high? Would you classify this as a new high, guys? Are we considering that the highest point? Okay, so a lot of you guys who are in the Mastering Price Action course, for those of you who don't know this information, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. When you have a high in the market, you mark that area and saying that is my reference point in the sky, and you mark that area and saying until I do not get a higher high than that, there is no higher high. Okay? You can repeat after me. Until I do not get a higher high from this, there is no higher high in the market. There is no higher high. Okay, so make sure you use this as your reference point. Okay, you don't use these suddenly coming lower and lower and lower and saying, yeah, but it broke my trend line. No, you want to stay away from that train of thought. You want to be careful with that. Okay, so once your trend reestablishes, and then the market starts moving up again and giving you a pullback. Okay, so you got a higher high here and it puts in a higher low and you're like, bam, my health sorry, my uptrend is now active. Now let's take a look at my uptrend along with the momentum. So the uptrend is coming up like this. That's the first push coming up. And you're like, okay, let's take it out. We know the first move looks like that. Here comes the second move. He makes a higher high and puts in a higher low as well, but that's how it looks. Let's pull it out. Would you say this is healthy and the momentum is still active? Okay, would you say this is healthy and the momentum is still active? And those of you guys who are saying no, that is not healthy and not active, very good. Because that means you do not want to trade all of these buys. You don't want to trade these buys. This is death area. This is where all the spikes happen. Have you ever noticed when you activate a trade and you're trying to go for a buy and it's looking like it's going, and just before it goes, he comes down, spikes you out, and then goes back up again? And then it's like, oh my God, it's going up now. My stop loss was too tight. I'm going to re-enter again. And then it comes back down, spikes you out again. And you're like, what in the world is going on? You're sitting there scratching your head and like, is my broker watching me trade or something? What is happening? I don't understand. Right? How many of you guys had that feeling? How many of you guys had that feeling? It is because your trades are happening after the fact that the health has died or the momentum is dying. One of those two is not there. One of those two is not there. Does that make sense? So I want you guys to make me a promise today. If you guys do not have these two pieces there, you do not trade. Understood? If these two pieces are not there, you do not trade. Okay? That's one thing you want to walk away from this webinar saying, I'm going to make this change starting today. I'm going to make this change starting today. Now, let's change this around in a downtrend, okay? Let's change this around in a downtrend and look at this. What does this mean in a downtrend, okay? So how does it look like in a downtrend? So we saw an example of an uptrend, but now let's go downtrend. Okay, here we go. Another thing, guys, just to give you guys a heads up, while we're doing these discussions, I have a trade running on my live account using these concepts, which I am also going to be sending you after the example set. So look out for that. Okay, look out for that. And I'm going to show you how I took the trade, how much money I made, etc., etc., etc. So you guys can see all that. So look out for that as well. I'll throw that in there as a added bonus, okay? So now let's take a look at this now in a downtrend. Okay, in a downtrend, let's take a look at this. Okay, here you go. You're starting to have a momentum shift happening in the market. After the health started dying, the market starts to turn around and starts coming down. So it's like, okay, we've put in what looks like no higher high, no lower low, and then finally we made our first low, because now for a downtrend we need the opposite. Okay, we need a lower high and a lower low. If you cannot remember these words, it does not matter. You're not going for an exam. This is not school where you get graded on your exam. Here your grades are only your account balance. Okay, so you don't need to remember these words. Just remember what you need to see in a downtrend is the highest point must get lower and the lowest point also must get lower. When these two things are there, you have now passed the exam. Okay, so when these two things are there, you are now ready to say we are now officially in a downtrend. Okay, so a couple of things. When you see the same thing happen, we have a lower low, bam, right there. A new low has happened. And this was our highest point. It's put in a new lower high as well. We have now officially a healthy downtrend. You have two checks, right? Lower low and a lower high. So once that pullback starts coming in from there, that is a trade you want to be on. That is a trade you want to be on. Okay? That is not a trade that's going to cause you problems. Okay? So let me show you. Let me show you here. Okay? Now we're gonna measure the momentum and the health in the same thing. Market goes down and then it pulls back. Okay, so that's our first move. Fair enough. We needed that to identify. We needed that to identify if this is a trade or not. Then the next move goes down and then it starts to pull back that much. We're like, whoa. Yeah, that's pretty healthy, isn't it? That looks pretty healthy. So when you have your health and your momentum saying, you know what, go for it. There's money in the market moving around. There's money in the market. Okay? That's when you say, on that next pullback is where I'm going to make my money. On that next pullback is where I'm going to make my money. Let's take a look at the next pullback after that. What happens to the next pullback after that? Okay, he moves down, not so far, and then look at the pullback. How much lower does he come down afterwards? The health has died. The health has died. So, shall we try to put this all into perspective now? Okay, so far, let's put this into perspective. One thing is you now understand the importance of health and momentum. Yeah? Everyone agree? Health and momentum. Everyone agrees up until this point. That is the main point that we wanted to discuss here to make sure we understood that. Once we understand that little piece, now we want to move into the next step. What does it mean? What does it mean to go against the trend? What does it mean to go against the trend? Naveen, I see all these professional traders out there making a killing. I'm talking about $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 an hour. Okay, they're making a killing using counter trend. But I'm here to tell you guys, they do not go counter trend. They always go with the trend. That is the one key they leave out. And let me explain how. Okay, so when you see this whole momentum thing, there's a few things you want to keep track of. Okay, there's a few things you want to keep track of. Now you're like, at this stage, you don't know anything. We're like, I'm not sure. I can see a downtrend is active, but I don't know the health and momentum. Here, it activates. And you're like, oh yeah, now I know. That is pretty healthy. Now, what you are interested in doing is you go down one time frame. What time frame is this? This is the 15-minute time frame. You can go down one time frame or two time frames. In this particular example, we're gonna go down to the 5-minute chart. Okay, one time frame lower. Now, on this 5-minute chart, okay, I'm gonna blow it up for you a little bit here so you guys can see it. On this 5-minute chart, you guys see this area right here where I'm putting my arrow? What you want on a lower time frame is people to start thinking it's a buy. Now, remember what I told you guys earlier about what is a downtrend and an uptrend. What pieces do you need for an uptrend? Can you guys repeat and tell me, what pieces do you need for an uptrend? Okay, so the larger player is healthy and saying, okay, my job is give me a better price and I'm gonna hit it. Give me a better price and I'm going to sell it. Now we've come to the lower time frame, and exactly like all of you guys are saying, very good, Barry, Rebecca, Tad, Neo, very good. So all of you guys were saying a higher high and a higher low sequence that comes in. So here's a higher low, and a higher high keeps getting attempted. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, coming in. An uptrend is starting on a lower time frame. Higher time frame saying, yes, keep coming higher. Get me a better price. Come on. Create the demand that they want to buy it at a higher price so we can sell it. Okay? Does this make sense? Okay, does this make sense? So what we're looking at, When we say the big boys or the larger or the senior traders are always counter trend trading, yes, they're trying to sell in this uptrend, but they're leaving out the piece that they're not actually going against the trend. They're still with the trend. How many of you guys understood that, what I just explained right now? Okay? How many of you guys just had an aha moment and were like, oh my God, how come I couldn't see that? Okay? Remember, the common sense is not common practice. It's right there in front of your eyes, and that's what makes it so good. That's what makes it so good. Okay? Now think in terms of everything I've ever taught you in any webinar out there. Okay? Everything I've taught you in any webinar out there, it's like this. When the market is coming down, people are thinking, the market's a sell. Because I can see visually, right? I asked you guys in a survey, and everyone in the survey, a majority of you, over 60% in the survey said, I look at the trend visually. And that's fine. And that's fine. I used to do that too. And that's fine. So visually, the eye will look at this and say, oh, it's a downtrend. I can see it. My dog can see it. My kid can see it. My neighbors can see it. Heck, even my grandma can see it with her glasses. It's a downtrend. What more do you need to know? Sell it. So when the market starts to come up, they're thinking, well, yeah, support, resistance, supply and demand, sell it. It comes down a little bit more. They're like, yeah, you see, it's working. Yeah, you see, it's working. It's a sell. And then it jumps up a little bit. Once it jumps up, stage one happens. Stage one is confusion. Huh? What's going on? As it jumps up a little bit aggressively, it will stop out any stop losses in this area. Once those stop losses are hit, and then it starts coming down, they're like, is it still a sell? Oh my God, is it still a sell? And then the moment he jumps up and starts to make a higher high again, people jump onto the buys at this price saying, oh my God, it's a buy. No one's buying from down here, but everyone is buying from up there. You put that information into play into this context. No one buys from down here. Everyone is buying very, very late into the uptrend. And that's when the big boys are saying, good, I wanted that higher price. Bam. The markets come crashing down. And they go for brand new lows. Aha moments? Making sense? Okay? The market is a mechanism of an illusion. It's a mechanism of an illusion. And it's not an illusion created by the big boys on purpose. It's just how the human brain works. It's just how the human brain works. The mind is constantly looking for a validity, right? Saying, someone show me and I'll do the same thing. So that's why the brain keeps looking for a trend visually with our eyes. Correct? Do you guys agree? Yes or no? I used to do that all the time. Looks like the sound is out. I'm going to wait for a second to see if the sound comes back. It should be back now. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah. So the last question I asked is, I used to do the same thing. I used to watch the trends visually with my own eyes and be like, well, it's a down, so I must be doing a sell, because I keep hearing on the internet, in every single forum, in every single so-called mentor and guru keeps saying the trend is your friend, but they never taught me when the trend is not my friend. Yeah, that's not a good guru or a mentor if they don't tell you when not to trade, because that is the key ingredient to trading. If you don't know when not to trade, you are going to make a consistent amount of losses in the long run. Do you guys agree? Yes or no? You guys agree? Yes or no? Many of you guys have been trading for some time now. This stuff should be a click in the brain and be like, oh my God, you know what? That's exactly what I needed. How come no one pointed me in the right direction? And that's how I personally felt when I was first told this information several years ago. It's like, oh, I can't believe it's just right there in front of my eyes, and it just didn't click that well. It just didn't click. And when I was presented with that information, it started to make sense. My trade started to get bigger. My lot sizes started to get larger and larger and larger. Of course, I still had to go through my hurdles of large lot size. Also comes psychological barrier, and then, oh, stop loss. Wait. Focus. Why? What did I do wrong here? Did I get greedy? Did I get fearful? What did I do wrong? And then rebuilding, right? So trading, as fun as it is, it is also difficult if you make it difficult. The key is always in the answer when we say simplicity is the key. No true words have ever been spoken. Simplicity is truly the key. Do you guys see any indicators on my chart? There's no indicators. There's no need for an indicator. There's absolutely no need for an indicator. The price tells you the story. Okay? Yeah, the price tells you the story. So now, shall we do some more examples? Maybe we can change up a different chart. Look at a different chart and a different time frame altogether. Because I'm going to show you this thing happens time and time again everywhere. So let's take a look at this. Let's choose, let's say, the daily chart. And, whoops, sorry, this thing is massive. Let me get that out. Boom. And let's move on over to, let's say, pound dollar. All right. After Euro USD, everybody likes pound USD. And I'm going to scroll back to, oh, sorry, not like that. Let's just pick a date going into the past a little bit. Okay, boom, right there. Random date, whatever it is. Here we go. Scroll back a little bit. Right there. Okay, so let's take a look at this whole movements here. Okay? Now, I'm going to quiz you guys. You know, you might be thinking, oh, this webinar is fun. I get to learn a lot of things. I don't know if you've learned anything until I quiz you, and I know you got the answer right. No one is walking out of here until they've learned this thing. Understood? All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at this on pound USD. Okay? The market goes from this price up here, okay? And then it comes below this price, crashing down. Comes down, crashing down, and reaches this lowest point before pulling back. Okay, reaches that lowest point before pulling back. Now, as it pulls back, he puts in a higher low, sorry, a lower low. Even I'm losing my lower low and lower highs. Okay, he puts in a lower low. Check. He puts in a lower high. Check. Downtrend is now active. Okay, downtrend is now active. Now that the downtrend is active, we are now interested in, what are the two things that we're interested in at this stage once we know a downtrend is active? What do we need? Two things. Starts with an H and ends with an M, and it's not the clothing store. It's not H&M. But if it helps you remember those two words, you can think of H&M, okay? All right. Cool. All right. So now let's take a look at this in terms of this thing. So the markets come down, and I'm gonna do the same design that you guys saw earlier, so it's easier to remember. The market comes down, pulls back. I'm gonna pull this out and saying, okay, there we go. The market comes down again, pulls back. Whoa. Obviously, all of you guys, I don't even need to ask you guys will tell me, hey, the momentum is dying. Don't sell after that. The momentum is dying. Any sells after that, for example, this thing, is not gonna allow you to make money smoothly. Imagine you're trading this based on supply and demand. Killed. You're trading this based on support resistance. Killed. Stop losses. You have to look at this in a better way. You gotta be a lot smarter than this. Okay? So you wanna raise the bar a little bit more. Okay? So, alright, so let's continue. Now, after that, here we go. Is this now a lower low because he broke that area and he came below that? Is that a lower low? Is that a lower low? Okay. Okay, a lot of people are saying no. I see some yeses, some no's. Seems like we have a 60-40. 60-40. A lot of you guys are saying no. Some of you guys are saying yes. Okay. Whenever in doubt and stuff like this, do I have a new low? Look for the reference point in the sky or down below. What is the reference point down below? Since this whole in our screen, lowest point, new lowest point, new lowest point, you mark that and you say this is now my reference point. Until I do not clear that reference point, I don't know anything. I don't guess. I don't think it's a buy because the sells are no longer there. I don't do anything. All I know is it is no longer for me to sell. It means standby. It does not mean, oh, switch to a buy. Okay? Many people might think that. Always remember this concept. Okay? I don't know if you guys will like the way I'm doing this. Okay? All right, here we go. Always remember this. This is very important. Okay? This is applicable in real life as well. If it's not A, it does not automatically mean it's a B. Okay? That means if it's not a sell, it doesn't mean it's a buy. Okay? If a kid is not lying, it doesn't mean he's telling the truth. You gotta be careful. You have to be careful with stuff like this. So don't jump to the opposite. Never jump to the opposite. Just because it's not a sell does not mean it's a buy. Yeah, exactly. A C month, it can be a C. There you go. Keep your mind open. Okay, so keep these things in mind. This is very important. Keep these things in mind. All right, let's go further into this. Let's go further into this. Okay, let's go further into this. So the market then now moves further, making lower lows from here down to there. And we're like, okay, we have now broken it. And the pullback seems to be coming in like this. Wow, that's a pretty deep pullback. But we don't have a movement that makes a lower low after that. So this sort of entries here, pullback sell, can be very dangerous. Can be very dangerous. Okay, so nothing, 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 nothing. Oh, well, what do you know? The direction of the market has changed into a brand new higher high, higher low. Okay, we've had even a higher low here. Higher low, but no higher high yet. No higher high yet. Now we have a higher high. Now the trend is active. If you buy this, if you buy that, watch very carefully what's gonna happen. I'm gonna circle this area thinking that, oh, look, it's a higher low. It must be turning around. I'm going to do the buy. And if you buy that, I'm going to show you the problems that come with it. So I'm going to go down one time frame. Go down one time frame. Take you to that area. Which area is this? This is 2017 on April 7th. Okay. Let's go 2017, April 7th. April 7th. There we go. Okay, so we're at the area right now. Look at it in this way. Now we're waiting for people to become sellers, right? We're waiting for people to become sellers because that's the whole, I guess the name of the game. Give me lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So we start getting lower highs. We start getting lower lows here, and we're like, check, downtrend is now active. Look at those red candles. That's gonna make a lot of people turn sellers. Okay, so you might be on the sideline thinking, okay, well, I got the sellers coming in, I gotta do the buy now. because once these sellers are finished, their health and momentum dies. That's a buy for me. So as they come in and they put in a new lower high and then no lower low, and you're like, that's it. Looks like the health has now died. Looks like the momentum for them has now died. I will now do the buy. Okay? I will now do the buy. This buy is unable to make a higher high. In fact, he's gonna come hunt for any stop losses that you might have here. You see that little spike out that comes out one more time? Because it's not ready yet. Because why? Your higher time frame, when we were there on the daily chart, it did not say the trend is an uptrend yet. So we don't know how much pressure the sellers have still in their pockets. We don't know how much money they still have left. For all we know, this thing could have kept coming down and down and down. But whoever does the buy over here will not survive. Make sense? Is it clicking? Yeah? Good. More aha moments. Good, 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 good. So, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I want to know from you guys again on repeat. On repeat. What do you guys? What are the two pieces that we need in a trend? What makes an uptrend? What makes an uptrend? Okay. Yeah, for those of you guys who have come into the webinar late, I'm sorry. Normally we shoot people who come in late. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Don't worry. Everything is recorded and you will get the recordings in your emails maybe 30 to 45 minutes after the webinar. There is no penalties. We're not going to make you go stand outside the classroom or something like that. Just joking. Okay. So, all right. So now so higher highs, higher lows. Very, very good. Okay. So all of you guys answering that question is good. Now, that's the uptrend. A downtrend is the opposite, is a lower high and lower low. In case you do not remember those words, remember it is just whatever the highest point is, it must come down. Whatever the lowest point is, it must come down. It's almost like you can draw a line from the top and you can draw a line from the bottom. If that direction is pointing this way, we now have a downtrend. Okay? And the same thing is for an uptrend, but inverse. Okay? So now, on the flip side of things, once you have this piece of information, you need those two other pieces of information, which you guys call H&M. Wow, that we're gonna have to compete with H&M and be like, hey, can we take this word? Like, yeah, it's the H&M clothing store, right? There you go. There you go. Okay, so keep these two things in mind. Now, again, I'm going to remind you that after this webinar, I'm going to send you an example set and we're going to go into it in more detail. We're going to go into it in more detail. In case you did not understand with all the chat and all the messaging going on, it's going to be in more detail and more elaborate. Okay? All right. So now let's take a look at another example. Okay? Let's take a look at another example. So we've covered two little things so far. One was, what does it mean to go with the trend? The other thing we have covered is what does it mean to go against the trend? Now, as a quiz to you guys, does anyone trading successfully ever go against the trend? Okay. Generally speaking, there are some outliers out there who are very phenomenal traders. Don't get me wrong. They do very, very good trades going against the trend. But for the most part, even those large traders, senior traders who are doing at least $2 or $3 or $4 million a year, when they say I go against the trend in their interviews, in their podcasts, and whatever you hear, now you know what that means. Now you have the idea. Now you know what it means. Okay, so we've covered two topics. Okay, going with the trend, going against the trend, and then in the example set later on that I'm going to send you guys, we're going to put this all together and give you a a roundup of how do you put this all together. So I recommend you watch the whole thing properly, and then you watch the next whole thing properly. I've split it up into 2 pieces so you can really take in the information. And one of the main things why I'm giving you guys this information is because to me, this was my breakthrough. This was my breakthrough. This is what helped me turn the direction in my trading. So this is something I really wanted to share with you guys, to really pick it up and be like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this, and I'm gonna not just do it, I'm gonna try it, put it into practice today. Okay, it's Tuesday. The week has just started. No one's telling you to just take me for my word. You gotta try it. You will try it and you will see. Okay? All right. Good. Yeah, good to see all these feedbacks. Good to see all these feedbacks. So yeah, let's take a look at another example. We got 10 more minutes to us. Let's take a look at another example here. Let's move on down to another pair. Let's go on to, let's say, what pair do you guys like? Okay. What pair do you guys like? We can do Aussie pairs, we can do CAD pairs, Euro pairs, Pound pairs, New Zealand pairs, or Dollar pairs. Aussie USD daily. Okay, Vish says Aussie USD daily. Some people are saying Euro CAD, USD CAD. Okay, so let's start with Aussie USD, as that was the first one that I saw that popped up. Okay, Aussie USD, we're going to flip it around, and I'm going to show you this on the 1 minute time frame. In fact, we don't have a time frame below 1 minute on TradingView, so I'm going to start with the 5 minutes, and we can go down to the 1 minute if needed. Okay, just to show you the markets are fractal. What you see in a higher time frame is the same on a lower time frame. Okay, it's the same all over the place because it's human behavior being challenged over and over and over again. It's how the supply and demand curve works. Okay, so let's get this out of the way so it's not bothering you guys. All right, so let's take a look at this. Okay, I'm gonna quiz you guys, and we're gonna see if you can pick this up faster. Okay, now that you've trained your eyes to spot these things, let's see if you can train your eyes to spot it faster. Okay, to train it faster. So, downtrend. Okay, you don't need to answer in the comments section. You can just say it out loud. Okay, so downtrend. Agree? Yes or no? If you said yes, very good. Okay, the market comes down till here, starts to pull back. Okay, so can we take this sell? Yes or no? If you said yes, that is correct. That is a sell. Okay, because it was healthy compared to that guy. It was healthy compared to that guy. So yes, that is a sell. That is a trade. Okay. Although he wasn't able to make brand new lower lows, but that's a decent amount of money, and it gives you very less spike outs and trouble with your trade. That is the most important piece. It should not give you trouble. Okay, continuing forward. And then the market moves down, makes a lower low here. Can you do this pullback? Okay, if you have answered no, that is correct, because we have 2 things here. Compared to this move down, we never made a lower low. That was the line in the sand. Boom, 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 until we made a lower low from here, coming down till there. And if we pull these guys out, the trend is not healthy. So if you do the sell after that, you are in for a surprise, because the market is gonna go haywire. And when it goes haywire, it's gonna go boom, stop loss, and you're gonna start calling up your broker and telling him all sorts of new swear words you've learned. And the poor guy is going to be like, well, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I'm just filling in orders. Okay? So you got to be careful with stuff like that. Now, moving on further. So line in the sand. Okay? Is this a lower low now? Is this a lower low? For those of you guys who are answering no, that is not a lower low, you are correct. Pat yourself on the back, because that is not a lower low. Line in the sand. Until we do not cross this, nothing matters. Okay? All right, moving forward. Do we take this pullback here? The answer is yes. Okay? If you've said yes to this, very good. Pat yourself on the back again. Very good. Very good. The next one that comes in right here. Lower low, pulls back. Do we take that sell right there? If you said no because it's not healthy, that is correct. Let's take this out and let's take this out. Very good. Very good. Because that would have been a sudden move down followed by a sudden move up that will be a stop loss. Okay? So I hope you can see all this information. We've gone through this very quickly, and very quickly you were able to see we don't need to trade any of this nonsense. When people might have made money on this way down, over here they will give back all of their profits and more. Yes or no? Do you guys agree? When people make their money here, somehow, without knowing, even if it's by luck, they will give it all back in this. They will give it all back in this. So you have to be very careful. I am teaching you guys now how not to trade and saying, okay, cutoff point, we're gonna sleep, we're gonna watch TV, we're gonna have a cup of coffee, we're gonna go out with our friends, we're gonna go to the bar, we're gonna have some shots, whatever it is. Okay? But we do not come back until things start showing up again for us. Okay? Alright guys, so let me minimize this. Let me get up here on the camera for you guys. So, how was it? Did you guys understand everything in the webinar? Did everything make sense? Because remember, this is a very important webinar for me. I wanted to touch as many people as I can and to let them know that there is a way around trading and you can trade better. All you need is to be pointed in the right direction, and you will be surprised how strong your own brain is to start picking up on these little things and be like, I got it, I can do this. And when you go and apply it, you will actually see from the results of what we're teaching here is actually applicable instantly. So, I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and don't forget to pick up the example set, which is in the links below or in the link in the description. You're gonna get a lot more detail and a lot more thorough explanation of everything that you've learned so far. I hope you enjoy yourself. Until next time, cheers.